Welcome to Adventures in River. I'm Danny, this is my Brompton River, and this channel is all about going out on adventures whether you're on two wheels or two legs. Today we're going to go through all the gear I took on the Way of the Roses tour, looking at all the things that worked, all the decisions and choices I made, how I used gear from other sports that I do, like my marathon running, to try and keep the costs low, and see how it all worked out. Hopefully it can help you guys make some decisions on the gear that you choose, but that you don't always need expensive cycling gear. Tried to keep the bikes as light as possible. We were doing a lot of climbing and we were very conscious of putting the bikes under too much pressure. I took 8 kilos in total on the front carrier block. I took 1.5 kilos of water. New for this tour was the Vincita frame bag. I got this and it was amazing at been having easy access to everything that I needed while riding, and easy access to snacks. So the weather when we were going on the Way of the Roses tour was forecast to be 20 degrees high. It was going to be dry, it was going to be blue skies throughout the entire 3 days. Water and hydration was like a massive concern and thought processing. Day one, there was a lot of different stops in terms of villages and cafes that we could resupply water for, and that was also the most hilliest day. However, day 2 and day 3 were less options for water. This is it's a running hydration vest. It can carry two 250ml water bottles in the front pouches, and it can carry a 1 litre bladder in the back, which is great for easy access. Putting it on the back and just carrying the water with you means you don't have to worry about the front block or the rear rack in terms of overloading the weight with the gear that you have, and this was a real lifesaver. Hydration when it's hot and sunny is got to be one of the number one things to prioritize in terms of what you're bringing with you. The thought process on this ride was to go light. We decided that we wouldn't camp because we were going to go over for 3 days. We decided that because of the heat and the weather, we could basically use a layering system in terms of our clothing, so we didn't have to take bulky thermal items to keep us warm, and we decided that it would be the best idea to just go as light as possible. The main bag of choice was the Brompton Berry bag in large. This took everything that I needed and carried all the load of what I took. The great thing about the Berry bag is it's got some really great side pockets. So I carried some additional water, 750ml. Midge spray, I'll be honest, I didn't use the midge spray, but we're in the countryside. I thought it's better to have it than not have it. These are running gloves. There was a couple of mornings where, although during the daytime it was going to be hot and sunny, there were times in the mornings it was around sort of 5-6 degrees and it was sort of a little bit damp. So these were great. They're light gloves. Again, these are running gloves. I did bring with me a waterproof jacket, even though it was just a bit dry. This is England. I didn't want to get wet. That second day in Apple Tree Week, although it didn't rain, it was cloudy, it was cold. I didn't wear this, but you know, it quite easily could have rained, so I'm glad I took this as a backup. First aid kit. This is got to be one of the key things that you need to bring on any trip. There was a guy when we did the London to Brighton ride, we were cycling, he got taken out, he grazed his arm, no one had any kind of first aid kit whatsoever, and if I'd had this with me, I could have helped him out. So even if you don't necessarily use it for yourself, you can use it for others, so make sure you bring a first aid kit on any tour. This contained like all my clothes for when I was not riding. These are great, these are from Decathlon, but these are like trousers and shorts, so I could wear them if it got cold at night. Basically it's something that I could wear if I went to the pub at the night and I didn't want to wear my cycling shorts. I could wear something that's a bit more normal type of clothes, and it has the added thing that the shorts and trousers in one, so it's a weight saving bonus. This was my main cycling kit, so I had a merino wool t-shirt as a sort of base layer. This was good at keeping the sweat off during the day. Also had a base layer. This I wore over the merino wool t-shirt, especially when it got cold, so when we were going up to Greenhow Hill, I was conscious of getting too cold, and especially with it being early day, not generating enough heat yet. So I put that on top, that kept me warm. And this is a runner's top that I use for winter, but it's thermal, it keeps me warm, so if it got a bit too cold, a bit too chill, I could put this on top of that and it would keep me warm. Electronics kit, so within here I had all my cables, battery bank. So if you're riding a Brompton, I think it's key that you make sure you always keep your tyres up to pressure. This Lazine pump is one of the heroes of the tour. This allowed me to keep my tyres up to pressure. Most pumps, even the Brompton pump that it comes with, does not allow you to pump it to 100 psi. In such a small package, as one of the best investments I've got. I use that in combination with a pressure gauge. It does have a gauge on it. I found it not to be particularly accurate. So having a backup of this, which doesn't weigh much, we're talking 10 grams if that, plus this, meant that I didn't have one mechanical puncture, failure, nothing on the bike. So I just spent the last winter doing a marathon training. I had loads and loads of gear that was light, which was lycra, which was thermal, that I could use to adapt to my cycling and basically reuse in a different sport, and without having to go and get the extra kit. So for me, look at what you have in your house, look at what you have already in your drawers, and how can you use that. That is the way you're going to be able to go off, enjoy cycling, enjoy different sports without having to keep on spending so much money on gear that, they're all multi-purpose, all multi-use. It's really just a case of adapting it for what you're going to need it for.